Hello there. Welcome to Sundays with Cinnamon.
Hey.
And right now, I just want to let you all know that I am practicing the art of staying present and not preparing in any way for Sundays with Cinnamon. So whatever shows up is what shows up. And today I wasn't even certain of what topic I wanted to speak about. And I know what I would like to speak about right now.
No.
I know, as I'm thinking. I do know. And it is willingness. That's the topic. Willingness and unwillingness. Often we say, well, when you're ready, then you can choose to be happy. And that's really not what people say. They don't say that second part, when you choose to be happy. Although really that's what they're saying, like, oh, when you're ready. And now, well, what if you're not ready for 5 years? So are you going to suffer for 5 years? So I wanted to speak about the importance of language. And instead of saying, oh, in God's time, I mean, it isn't God's timing, that's a contradiction. Although,
Every moment is God's time.
yes.
This now moment.
So
is
let's talk
God's
about
time.
that.
Well, what you're really saying is making the distinction, honoring the difference between readiness and willingness. Because we were born ready. We were born from the light of the creation, ready for this life. And then we're programmed by this life. It's like God said, okay, now you've got all the info and you're going to go in, and there's one caveat you're going to forget. And the nature of being human is a part of that forgetting. They turn on the lights in the delivery room, blue hat goes on the boy, pink hat goes on the girl, that means Barbie doll, this means baseball, and so the process of forgetting has already begun, because here's the stamp. Oh, I have to look like this and measure up to that and so forth. So it's about creating the awareness that I'm ready for anything. It's just that I have either been brought up and programmed to be fearful and unwilling, and sometimes the fear is greater than the willingness. You've developed so much fear instead of developing the willingness to meet the fear, which is the challenge of life. And so the question becomes, are you willing to be ready? Because you're ready. You're born ready. Thank God for that. That's what it means when people use biblical terms about nothing will be given to you that is greater than your ability to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And still willingness has to come forth, because we all have the ability, the readiness, the capability, all of us, equal. It's just that we have to develop the willingness to be courageous, use our ability.
So saying, oh, when you're ready is really giving that person an out and an excuse.
Well, it's giving them support for delay.
Yes.
It's, that is a gentler way of seeing it. Then I'm not going to give you an out. I'm not going to, It just. I have said very firmly to people, I will not support that. When people's resistance is such that they insist that this is this. Well, okay, if that's how you want to play this out, you have a right to your happiness, to your misery, to whatever you want. I, as someone who loves, is not going to support that which I can see clearly isn't working for you. So I just back off, withdraw, and wait for a call to come forward again. I don't ever walk away and say, oh, I'm done with this, you do it. When you're ready. I just pray for their desire to be willing to be ready.
Yes. I've seen you, I've seen your willingness when life has showed up. And for instance, a dear, dear, close loved one of yours, Steph, committed suicide. And I saw, there's a knock on the door.
That's
Did
all
you
right.
want to?
Yeah. This is one of my family members.
Oh.
Just come.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
that's right. We're just doing the Sundays with Cinnamon, and this is a part of life.
Yeah.
So you've seen that when Steph.
Yeah, so I saw that when Steph passed, you immediately did class.
Yeah.
And
The day after my husband died, I was doing class.
which could seem to the mind, oh my gosh, does she care? And why is she doing class? And
In honor of him, he knew that that's what he loved. That's what drew him to me was my commitment to love, and that was my dedication to him.
yes. Yeah, that's just, that right there is,
And
when
my
I saw that,
sister-in-law- my sister-in-law, who knows me so well, said the next day after he passed, because my brother-in-law, his brother, and my sister-in-law were with me at his bedside, and they know. It's very moving to remember how supportive they were of my Sue. My sister-in-law said, I suppose we'll be going to class tonight, and I just loved that they knew that was what I would do in honor of him and the way he supported me in the work. It was amazing, and yeah.
so what would you say to people who are grieving one who has passed, or grieving a divorce or an affair, or just a death of a relationship? What would you say to them?
Grieve it fully. Don't hold back. Grieve it so fully. In the book, I wrote in Here and Now, I wrote Here Now, it's the title of my own book. I wrote about grief being like filling a tub full of hot water that you can almost not stand. It's that hot. And you inch into it, and you breathe into it, and you realize, okay, I can stand it, and then it becomes not such a challenge, and then it becomes very comfortable, and then it starts to cool down and become tepid, and then it gets cold, and then you know it's in my best interest to get out now. And that's how I experience grief, is just get into the eye of it, the eye of the storm.
How do you do that?
By being willing. By
Cry.
Yes, in whatever way. Some people laugh at a funeral. It's not to be criticized because, oh, there's more family. Come in. We're doing, hi. Do you want to be a part of Sundays with Cinnamon?
No, I just wanted to show you. We just ironed something under my shoes.
Oh, okay, come. Save our ocean. That's wonderful, my love. That's what we're talking about, Sundays with Cinnamon. Save our lives. And we do that by saving all that God has given us. Thank you, my love.
I'm gonna go see Bill get his done. I'll be back.
Okay,
So,
all right.
maybe we'll for like a week.
All right. And see, that's why I love this Sundays with Cinnamon, because it's not contrived. It's just like life. And you can either resist it and say, oh, it has to be professional, and it has to, oh, you got kids barging in and people taking showers. Yeah. And that is a greater example of willingness to go with the flow than anything I could sit here and pontificate about. I want this audience, whoever you are, to know that this is a real deal. This isn't some woo-woo head trip or guru trip. It's life in action. And I'm either going to be in action and take charge of it, or let it take charge of me. That's all I got to say about that.
Yes. You're either going to be willing to do it
Or resist it.
or resist it
And good
and
luck
suffer.
to you in resisting.
And you can do that as long as you want. You have You have the choice to suffer.
Yeah, yeah.
We were given that choice. If we want to be miserable and take years upon years
Yeah,
until we're,
take your time.
quote, ready, unquote, do that.
Yeah.
And just know it's your willingness. Take
Yeah.
responsibility with that. And what I do is when I'm unwilling, I say I'm unwilling, and that's okay. And I will continually say,
Doesn't last long.
I'm unwilling. It lasts 24 hours max, and I'm so tired of saying I'm unwilling that
It's like,
I change it
this-
around.
How much sense does this make? I'm unwilling to be happy.
I'm unwilling to surrender. It's just, yeah.
And see, surrender is not surrendering to misery, it's surrendering to love. Why would you turn your life over to misery when you could turn it over to peace?
Amen. Thank you. This concludes another Sundays with Cinnamon. See you guys next week.
Absolutely. Just look forward to it.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.